Welcome to today's session. Today's episode is with our famous Omri Kenan. Welcome, Omri.
Hi,
Today,
Hilton. Hi, everyone.
how you doing?
I'm doing great. Very excited to be here today, seeing you, which is always a pleasure. And I love your shirt.
Amazing, amazing. Thank you. Yeah, you gotta have the shirts. The shirts, they do it all. Omri. So yeah, it's good to see you. I'm happy that you decided to be part of our episode. So today's episode is going to be from coffee beans to quota machines. So tell me a little bit about yourself. Where are you at today?
So today I'm at Exverum, basically a data company. And I actually switched from top of the funnel to middle of the funnel where the action is. So essentially
Wow.
a salesperson today, which is very exciting. Um, My daughter asked me a question, what do I do, right? What do I do today? And I told her that I sell, it's like selling the flour, the water, and the salt. That's how I see data. And then eventually you take the data and you put it together and you build a product that is unique to you.
Wow.
So that's where I am today. I'm selling data.
Amazing. It's like one big recipe. And
Exactly.
you're
No,
the
not the
chef.
recipe, the raw material. I sell the raw material and then you do whatever you want with it.
Amazing, amazing. And how and what is your, so you're now an account executive? That's your position right now?
So yeah, essentially, I own a very specific market, an industry, and go all in with it. And yeah, selling, and building more than just relationship, building the trust with them. And actually, it's very interesting. If I may, just a second to take back the previous experience from top of the funnel. When you're trying to spark and ignite interest with people, it's really just an early stage first step. Here at this stage, I really enjoy the deeper conversation, the discovery of unique minds that are coming up with amazing products and different angles. And essentially, it's really walking them through the solution that will make their product more amazing in the end of the day. So it's a different type. It's building trust in the end of the day. It's really a trust relationship. Before I pop the question if they will marry me and buy my data.
Brilliant. I love that. I love that. Now, Omri, I've known you for such a long time. We go back a long time, although we didn't actually meet until we did like the sales class that we're part of and part of our community. But we've crossed paths a lot of times, and we've chatted over the past few years. One thing I don't know about you
Hmm.
is your past as a barista, and I'd love to know, like, how you got started in the barista days. Tell me a little bit about it. Like, what happened? How did you get there? What did you do?
Wow, that story is crazy, actually. Um, so I had a girlfriend. She was a waitress. And she told me that she doesn't, I never understand how difficult that job is. And then I decided to prove her wrong that I'm capable to work in the industry as well. Just imagine if she would have said to me, "You cannot be a lawyer," then I would have proved her wrong that I can be a lawyer. Uh,
7 years later,
yeah,
right?
but the story is actually very interesting because initially it was, I was young after the army, before my big trip, and I was looking for a job. Um, and the funny thing, I think this is the early sparks of me being an SDR or coming into sales and how to convince is that when I was looking for the job, and back in the 90s, of course, I'm very young. Back in the 90s, when you went to go for a job in a restaurant, essentially they were looking for waitresses only. And I remember that day I was going knocking on doors. I mean, going places to places, and then they say no, only experience, only women or whatever. And I was really beaten
Wow,
up.
that's very interesting.
So I went back to a friend, and his name was Daniel Rosenthal. And I was talking to him, and I always like his family name. I'd say Rosenthal, Rosenthal. And I say, and then suddenly I had this eureka moment. I say, Daniel Rosenberg, that's great. So I left his store, and he was like, "What do you mean, Daniel Rosenberg?" I left his store, and then I went places by places. And basically, when I came into the restaurant, I say, "Hi, can I speak to the manager?" And they say, "Yeah, sure." The manager comes. I put my hand forward and I say, "Hi, my name is Omri Kenan. Daniel Rosenberg told me that you are looking for waiters who speak French, English, Dutch, and Hebrew." And you know what? Every single one of them, every single one of them said, "Oh, Daniel Rosenberg, yeah, sure, of course. When can you start?" And on that same
Wow.
day, I stumbled upon a place which was beautiful on Rothschild Boulevard. Our Cafe back in the late 90s was an establishment of excellence. And I remember the music, and I remember the smell of the coffee and the fresh bread and the croissant. And I said, "This is
Wow.
Europe." And I entered and I did my spiel with the Daniel Rosenberg, but it was not necessary. And I landed the job, and from there started a journey, which almost a decade took me to so many places in the world, and even to a barista championship that I won.
That's where I was gonna take you next. I
Yeah.
understand that, you strive for excellence, and you went to the barista championships, and what happened there? You ended up, like, winning the competition?
Yeah, so funny. First of all, I think that in life or personally, when you say excellence, I think that I put passion first. Whether I'm in sales or selling coffee or in design or whatever I do, I always try to do it at the best possible side of it, and put passion in front, because I believe that when you put the passion first, everything follows behind it eventually. And essentially, the competition was a coincidence again. I used to was the general manager of Al Cafe in Paris, so I was sent to Paris to open the shops over there. And my competitor, I also believe in great relationship with everyone. And my competitor, who used to come, they were called Alto Cafe. They used to come to ask for milk, or like you knock on the neighbors, do you have sugar or whatever. I was always helping them, and we have built a great relationship. And when I left our cafe, they asked me, "Hey, there is a competition. It's a barista competition. Would you be interested to represent us?"
Wow.
And I say, "What does it mean?" It means, well, the winner goes to Japan. And I had this dream to go to Japan. So I say, "Yeah, of course." And honestly, I had 1 week to prepare, but I was passionate about coffee. I was passionate about the story. I was passionate about the experience. And when I competed, I wasn't competing. I was just doing what I do every day at the perfection and enjoying it. Um, and yeah, I
Unbelievable.
won the first barista championship in France.
Wow.
And I'm from Belgium, Israeli. And it was an amazing journey. Unfortunately, I came to position 34 globally, but it was fun because in Japan, in Tokyo, in 2007, I had the French, the Israelis, and the Belgium supporting me. Uh,
Wow, wow,
it was
wow,
fun.
wow, wow, wow. What a story, man. What a
Yeah.
story. It's incredible. And I guess you developed a lot of skills for your future career. Did you know can you tell me sort of what's some skills that you might have developed that
I
you didn't think of?
I think that the main skill that I developed in the journey in the first 10 years in opening and managing people and coffee shop and large organization, because I also became chief operation officer of a small chain. It's essentially what leadership mean, right? Set the example, methodology, right? In the end of the day, you have to have a method of how you work and how you scale things. I think that I had this amazing German Kirsten. I hope she will not mind me mentioning her, but time to time I mention her. She really taught me about standard procedures operation, SOP, standard operation procedures, and how to
Wow.
be structured. Um, and in the end of the day, the biggest skill that I have learned is dealing and handling and working with people. In the end of the day, it's just about people, right? Whether it is in management, whether you're selling, whether it's a coworker, whether it's a junior or senior person that you interact with, it's all about people. And I think it's the engagement, and I'm passionate about people as well. So I think that's why uh, I enjoy that a lot.
You know what? That's it's amazing that you said that because today there's huge challenges with the people component, where everybody's saying AI is going to take my job, AI is going to take my job, but at the end of the day, like you say, people to people, it's so important, and you can't get rid of it. You have to have it there, and that's actually what builds the relationships, and that's what takes you to the next level.
Yeah.
Um, that being said, how did you get involved in tech? What made you decide to take that step from going as a COO into into the tech world, and where did you actually start?
Yeah. So, with me, everything is by coincidence. Yeah. So essentially, how it started is when I came back to Israel in 2009. So I lived in Paris and London for almost 8 years. When I came back to Israel, I decided I want to have lunch like every single person and not be busy running or managing a full operation. And I decided that you know what, even if it's late, let's do it. Let's jump and go study. And I was always drawn to design and architecture, and I decided to go study industrial design. So I went to
Wow.
HIT. I was accepted, and it was a real change. Essentially, I ditched the entire food world, coffee business, and everything, and started my industrial design studies. But while I was studying, I was looking for an office job, like something, a student job. And that's how I entered Babylon, which, if you remember, this was one of the top translation software and leading. It opened my mind. Actually, back in 2010, 11, I was the first employee, I think, that was allowed to work from home when I started to study and just come
Wow.
one time a week to the office only because I hit my targets in a very efficient way. Um,
Really?
yeah,
Really? In those days, it was like unheard of working
unheard
from.
of, unheard of.
It was like there's no such thing. You come
Yeah,
to the office, that's it.
there's a small anecdote. Alon Yefet, who hired me eventually. Before that, I applied for the corporate sales, and I got pushed back really hard. And you know me, if I get pushed hard, then I find another excuse to enter. And essentially, I got the opportunity through Alon Yefet, who told me, "Listen, Omri, you're not a good fit for calling, like a call center. I will put you on the chat, live person, right? If you remember back then, live person.
That's where I started my career.
Yeah, exactly. And essentially, I was starting to type and write and selling in Dutch and French and English and Hebrew because those are the languages that I speak. And then there was this LCD or plasma screen. I think it was the plasma screen earlier than that. That was an amount. I don't remember the amount, 3,000, 4,000, whatever dollar, which was the top seller. And I was like typing and selling small deals of 29, 59, $99, whatever you can sell via chat, right? And next to me, there is like a huge team of people calling, dialing back to back people, etc., trying to get the leads and the hot leads and to convert them into opportunities. And I hear how they sell. And then I see there is a list, no interest list. And I say, hey, because I wasn't allowed to call, I say, what about those leads? And they say, well, they are dead leads. Why are they dead? Well, they say that they are not interested. What does it mean? Well, when we called them, they were not available at that time and we are skipping. Are you going to call them back? No, it's just a waste of time. We focus on your hot leads. And I say, do you mind if I call them? It's dead anyway? Yeah, sure. So on my second month, I was calling, selling on chat, and with my Madonna, parallelly calling people and say, hey, I know that my colleague called you. Back then it was not, you were busy. Do you have now time? I want to support you with the sale. And essentially I hit the target. I broke the record very quickly.
Wow. What a
Um,
story, mate. What a
yeah,
story.
yeah,
I think that's your characters. You never give up. You
never
don't
give up.
like if you can't get through the door, you'll go through the window. If you can't get through the window, you'll go through the roof. Well, like you will like what I've learned from these like 5 to 10 minutes that we've been speaking is that you don't give up. Is like if you set a goal, that's it. It's gotta be done.
Not give up and never take it personally, right?
Yeah,
Because once you take it personally, then you enter the ego, uh, uh, you know, you're locked in the ego mindset, and then you are completely disconnected from solutions. Yeah,
absolutely. And then from there, so from Babylon, tell me a little bit about. I guess in the early days you could call chat representatives. That was like the early days of SDR, right? That's like you used to take the chats. If you couldn't sell online, you would pass it on to the guys in the call center. I
so
guess,
this
right?
was Babylon was B2C.
Okay, okay.
And then one day, I used to be at Babylon for a little over 3 years. And then I moved to another company, which was in the music industry. But while I was at that company, I've seen a documentary about a small, very tiny company called SimilarWeb. And I don't know if our author will watch that or not, but this is actually the story of how I got to SimilarWeb. I essentially saw a documentary about this amazing tiny company that is going to scan the entire internet and give you insight of the similar websites or similar sites that that look like yours. And I say, how the hell do I get to work in a company like that? And I was like obsessed. I say, how the hell? I have zero experience in B2B. I have zero experience in affiliate marketing or PPC or SEO. How the hell do I get to work there? And essentially what I did is I was studying the company, and I was looking for an opportunity to work in a small company that will teach me everything related to PPC, SEO, affiliate marketing, etc. And back then there was Alexa, if you remember. So
Yes.
I joined that company, that small company. I was always comparing SimilarWeb, the freemium with the Alexa data. And I say, wow, there's so many great insight that I get there. And it took me a year. I found Emmanuel Heyman, who's now a dear friend, fellow French speaker. He's from Luxembourg. Nobody's perfect. I'm from Belgium. Uh, and we connected in an event. And I say, I'm keeping that business card. I'm going to call him one day. And then one day I saw there is an opening of an opportunity as a inside sales at SimilarWeb. And I literally jump into that opportunity, and I called, and he says, sure, I pass on your CV. Now, here's the thing. When he passed on the CV, I got an email. Tell me why you, why us, which I use today, by the way, when I hire. And I responded. Then someone called me. They say, okay, we will have we will have a meeting. So nobody called me. We will have a meeting with you on that specific date. And I'm waiting outside in the rain to have that call at that time, and nobody's calling. Then I send an email, and then again, oh, sorry, the next day, and I'm waiting and nobody's calling. And then I send an email, I would come to the office to have coffee. And then she calls me, and then she say, come to the office. So I passed and I went to the office, and essentially she wasn't there. So everything was set to fail. And you know
Wow.
Dave Heyman, right?
Yeah,
Dave
of
Dave
course.
Heyman.
He's my first boss, one of my first bosses.
He's amazing. He's amazing. So I was in an interview with
Legend.
Alvi Friedman and Emmanuel Heyman, and Dave, who was responsible for the onboarding and training, came in just to ask a question. And I was so sure of myself that I was going to get that job that I say to him, hey, see you at the next onboarding. Yeah, it was a little bit cocky, but yeah. Anyway, so similar was, I think that similar was the pivotal moment where I've learned, because I started in inside sales, and then I pivoted to enterprise as SDR outbound. So how do you move from middle of the
Yeah.
funnel back to top of the funnel, which is top of the funnel is the entry level. But something amazing happened. I knew how to close deals, right? But I did not know how to open and
Wow.
spark conversation. And that
Wow.
was a journey where I think that I've learned a lot by self teaching myself. And I followed a lot of Sam Nelson, Beck Holland, Josh Brown, all those big, amazing thought leaders, which at their early career I was following them, and I've been learning a lot from them. So thank you guys for all those tips.
And who was your at the time as an SDR? Were you reporting to? I think Joseph Furst was there in the day, right?
The God himself.
The God himself, Mr.
Yeah.
Joseph
I
Furst.
say always, here it's on record now, Joe. If SDR was a religion, he would be my holy priest.
He is the holy priest. He'll love this.
Yeah.
This is this is the best. But I think Omri, you've said a lot of things here, and one of the things that resonates with me is today a lot of young people who are looking for sales jobs and SDR jobs are going through the similar challenges that you went through when you got to SimilarWeb. And people just send their CV through or just go through LinkedIn and expect to get a call back. But
Mhm.
it's not like that. You have to build those connections. If you don't get through, like I say, you have to, like exactly what you did. You went to Emmanuel, you kept his card, you got back to him at the right time, and then you submitted your CV and you called and you stood in the rain and you waited, but you eventually did it. Now that is what a lot of people today, a lot of young SDRs or potential SDRs, they don't have that charisma and they don't have that hunger. You need that hunger. If you want that job, you've got to go and fight for it. And I think you did that unbelievably,
Yeah.
um, which is
So
incredible.
I would add to that that we're both instructors at sales class,
Yes.
helping hundreds of people that come from completely different backgrounds, unrelated to the tech world, and we help them enter the tech. And a lot of them have the same challenge like me. How do you move from one industry to a new industry? So to repeat what you're saying yourself, mindset, daring, and in the end of the day, people.
Yes.
You have to understand that you are dealing with people. You have to build those relationships. You have to build the trust. It's not enough just to say, I want to work. And by the way, when people come to, when I became a director of SDR organization and interviewed so many people, when I ask them why the company, and they say, well, I heard there is a great food or great culture, etc. That's not how it works.
The wrong time, the wrong moment.
Exactly.
Exactly.
And one more tip is that when you sell, right? When you sell and when you apply for a company, right? You want to find a job. It's the same process. You're looking for the ideal company that you want to sell to. You're looking for the ideal company you want to work for. So that's very important to do that match as well before. You're
Absolutely.
looking for the decision makers. You're looking for the decision makers there as well, right? You go to gatekeeper, right? Those who are going to block you from getting access to the decision maker, the recruiter, HR sometimes are also gatekeepers. But you have a lot of different channels that you can try to enter. And eventually when you get to that meeting, right? That's where you have to make that first impression work. And you know what? I failed so many times in first impression. Um, you can still get back on the horse or learn from it, right? You can learn from it a lot. And one tip, and please forgive me, all recruiters out there, that I give to SDRs or the people that we are teaching at sales class, whenever you want to land the perfect role, interview for 10 places that you don't want to have the role and practice on them
Yes.
and make
Yes.
everything to land the job. And once
Yes.
you practice on them, go to that place that you're ready to land the job, because you're going to learn a lot about pushback and rejection and hard questions. Yeah.
Absolutely, 1000% agree with you. Um, but I want to focus a little bit, but go back to your career.
Yeah.
And, you were one of the, as far as I'm concerned, maybe I'm a bit biased, but one of the top directors of SDRs in Israel and probably in the world, which is my ranking. I'm going to put you there. But you've done a phenomenal change, talking about coming from barista, going to the inside sales at a high pace sales velocity, then going to SDR. Being an SDR director for a while and moving around in different companies as an SDR director, building teams. Um, from there, you've now sort of changed, and people often say, well, where do I go from being a head of SDR? Maybe I can be a VP SDR, or maybe I can go back into sales. And you are a perfect example of somebody that just jumped into the account executive role. You got an opportunity, and now you're an account executive role. So tell me a little bit about that, and how do you find that, and what's the difference between that?
So first of all, everything that I do in life has an objective, a path, or a destination that I want to get to. And what I do today, it's the road, right? It's part of the journey. So it's not that I basically got an opportunity to be an account executive and jump off the management role to it. It's essentially, um, I have an objective. I want to build a product. I want to create. I want to eventually sell it as well. I want to become a VP sales one day, right? So I want to take it to the next level as well. And I've been always admiring my commander in the army that was always setting the example. When we were doing like 90 kilometers whatever we would call it, with heavy equipment on us, and he was always first and leading, and wasn't his first time, you know, that's setting the example. So I'm a big believer that if I'm ever one day will lead a sales organization, not just top of the funnel, but middle of the funnel as well, I need to be able to show and prove that I can do it myself as well. So I'm on a journey. I'm on a journey of self-reflection, where I put my ego aside. It's not about the title. It's about the achievement and about what you learn in the process. And honestly, I'm working with an amazing guy, Ronen Rave. I'm in a company that sell amazing. I wish to say call it product, but it's not product. It's data. And I get the opportunity to speak to so many CEOs, founders, brilliant people, and brainstorm with them on how they can leverage the data for their product, or even just listen and learn. So this is an amazing experience for me. So it's not about pivoting and changing to something. 360 degrees would be the same spot, so it's 180 degrees.
All right, exactly.
But essentially, it's a different angle to what sales is about, yeah, enjoy it. Yeah.
Amazing, amazing. Now, one other thing with sales and SDR, prospecting and closing. So you've gone from the prospecting part to the closing part. What do you feel the differences are? I mean, you said earlier along in our conversation, you said it was about people and building the relationships, but I think there's a lot of similarities in the closing with also the prospecting. So what are your thoughts here?
Well, you know my analogy of sales and dating, right? I always say that the SDRs are the matchmaker, that are there to spark and ignite the first interest, like Tinder, right? You have a great profile and you look great, you have the right messaging, and then you have the first conversation and you try to book the first meeting, which is essentially the first date. Sales, it's the date, right? I'm going on multiple dates. And I mean, when you go on dates, you have always to build the
A
momentum and the
long time
value
ago, Omri, a
for
long
the
time
next.
ago.
So I'm recently divorced, so I'm back in the game.
Amazing.
But essentially, every date, every meeting that we have to. My job is to build trust first and foremost, I think, right, and show the value, and then we can pop the question, will you marry me, right? Are you
Right.
ready to go with me into a serious relationship? Are we a good fit for both of us as well? And by the way, that's a very important question. I think in the end of the day, it's not about disqualification. It's sincere conversation, right? You're a great person. I'm a great person, but I don't think that we're a good fit for each other. Not now, but let's
Right,
stay
right, right,
friends. Let's
right,
stay
right,
friends. Let's
right.
let's keep in touch, and let's when the time is right, let's talk again, right?
Yes,
So SDR, the early stage, the Tinder stage, um, selling is the dating, the multiple dates, showing the couple of demos if you can show. And then once they close and they become customers, then we start the marriage journey, which is the leave it to the customer success to remember all the important dates and remember why we are together, to renew it and not churn or divorce eventually. To see the analogy.
amazing, amazing. I love your analogies. You have the most amazing analogies, and they pretty much they hit the bullet on the head. It's unbelievable. Right, I've got a couple of questions now. This is like a rapid fire questions. What is your favorite sales book?
So my favorite one is the one that I first read related to sales is predictable revenue, which I
Mhm.
call it the Bible of SDR work, even though today it might be a little bit outdated. And the book was challenging the need of cold calling. And I think that today cold calling is the right approach.
Yeah.
So yeah, predictable
Okay.
revenue by far.
Amazing. Best career advice you've ever received?
Oh, that would be Joseph first. The whole quiz.
Joseph, this listen,
Joseph,
Joseph is gonna love this.
he's going to love it. I hope you're going to share that, Joseph.
Absolutely.
Anyway,
Absolutely.
um, so there's two advices that I want to give. One is what I recommend today is, and it's a motto from the special units called "Who Dares Wins," right? Always there, always there. Do not fear to try. Do not fear from failure. But this is mine, borrowed from special units. Joseph first, one day I came to him. I say, "Hey, Joseph, I'm 30 plus. Right? I don't want to say 39. I don't know. I had multiple career changes. I came into the tech world, but I'm an SDR. Am I going to call all my life, and then one day a younger version of me will come and they will take my job?" Nobody thought about AI to taking that job back then, right? And it was before I became a manager. And he told me one word, Omri. I mean, that's the specialize, one word. And I think that this word is valid for any role that you're going to take. Once you specialize, you become an expert, a field expert. You become a field expert, you become valuable for the business. And if it is a niche, then you become really unique into it. So the moment he told me that, I left back to my desk and I start building stuff to make myself specializing in my industry.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Nothing like Joe first, huh? Tell me something. One last question about that on the quick fire. What's the biggest sales mistake you've ever made?
My biggest sales mistake, and again, I think it's related because it's a human thing, right? It's assumption, making the assumption and not asking. I assume that they are interested, or I assume that we are perfect for them, but I should ask, am I the right fit for you? So there's the Challenger book, which is a great approach to solve that. Is simply challenge, ask a question. So assuming, that was my biggest mistake. And I have a great story about that, if you don't mind, very
Go
short.
for it. Bring it on.
Um, it was at Bring. I forgot the name of the VP sales. Apologies. We got this small inbound lead that came in, and I say, look, the profile doesn't fit nothing. It should not be even. Why should I call that person? Why should I try to even engage? And my manager told me back then, say, I assume nothing. And I say, okay. So I called. Turned out that they're a consultancy firm for a company that I've been trying to target that have not been responding, but forwarded my details to him so that they can actually have evaluate us. Within 2 weeks, $30,000 deal. Okay.
Wow.
So assume
Wow.
nothing.
Wow. As they said, you know what they say about assume. Assume makes an ass out of you and me.
Okay. Perfect. I will remember that one.
um, Advice for future salespeople. So, we again, we're part of the sales class and we've taught hundreds of people and students. What is your advice from somebody coming from, let's say, a young Omri as a barista, or from the retail, or, somebody that doesn't have that experience? What is your advice to them that they should consider sales?
So you talk about advice about considering sales specifically, and I think that I want to give another angle advice, which something that I say at whenever I have new SDR starting. I tell them two things. One, I tell them I want you out of my team within a year and a half. So I want you to have, you know, an ambition, a
Clear career path.
destination, a path that you're building to yourself. And then the second thing that I tell them, I talk about the 4 keys. And I tell them that in order to open that gate and get hired for the next level, you have to achieve 4 keys. Imagine a corridor, right? You have few doors. So door number 1, the key number 1 is knowledge. Master the knowledge of whatever you're doing. So if you are working in a company, learn their product value proposition, learn the TAM, learn all the tools that they're using, master everything. Once you master all of that, we can talk about the second key. You cannot talk about the second key before you master that. And they're all related. The second door that you need to open is performance. Once you master performance, I mean, you don't have to be, it's not about hitting your targets every single month. It's about consistency of how you
Yes.
perform.
Yes.
By the way, when somebody comes to me and say, Omri, can I get a raise? I always ask them, do you have the 4 keys? And then we start from the key number 1. If you're stuck over there, it's 70%. We stop talking. The third key is, and the door number 3 is essentially build your personal branding. Be visible, right? Visibility is super, super important. Again, we're talking about people. It's not about bragging. It's about communication. It's about posting. It's about engagement. And that's very important. Once you have those 3 keys, you enter the room of opportunities, which you can essentially really kind of apply for anything, and you might have a chance, right? But when you look to your right or to your left, you see 10 other peoples like you that are
Yes.
knowledgeable, performer,
Knocking at those doors.
and have a great person branding. So the key number 4, which will bring you to the decision maker, actually the decision maker will come to you and say, hey, I want to hire you. It's the X factor. Develop your X factor. And the X factor is exactly what Joseph was
Specialize.
about. Specialize, become an expert. What is the unique skill that you have that is repeatable and valuable for the business, right? Unique to you, repeatable, and value for the business. If you can answer, these are the X factor criteria. If you have that, I guarantee you growth at any company at any pace.
Love it. Love it. And you've seen a lot of some of your sales folks growing using this methodology.
I can name a few: Josh Howard,
Amazing.
Hakan, Melody.
Ah,
I mean, I'm afraid to forget a few, but there's so many. I
so many
actually have
people
a
there.
slide where I showed a picture of all of the stars of my team, and I said
Love
that
it.
the special thing that they had is the going the extra mile, which is the X factor.
Love it. Now, Mr. Omri, it seems as though we're coming to the end of our session, and I really appreciate you being here. Now I want to see the master at work.
Oh my God.
Okay? I want to see the master at work. So on every session, on every episode, what I do is I bring something random to sell. And I thought I'd find something absolutely random and ask you to try and sell this to me.
Is it a
So
pen?
what I've got here is,
Is it chocolate?
let me open it up, some coffee beans.
Ooh la la.
Okay.
Put it closer to the camera for a second. I see. These are a mix of Robusta and Arabica.
Oh man, oh man.
You see, lesson number 1, always show that you know, regardless if you know, you don't know.
Well, look, you put your knowledge right up there now. I have no idea of, like, I'm
Exactly.
not a coffee person, but go ahead. Sell me the coffee beans.
So first of all, I'm very curious to know why you have that specific coffee bean bag.
Well, to be honest, as I say, I'm not a coffee person. I just went to the coffee store and I said, "Give me those beans over there. Those look like." And he said, "Wow, these are the Italian beans. They look like these are the, you know." I was like, "Give me those beans. I want to try them out."
So coffee, it's an art by itself, right? When you think coffee, for you, you think espresso. The other will think about cappuccino. Another will think about filter coffee, drip coffee, etc., etc. Turkish coffee, my favorite. So my question to you first, in order for me even to consider selling you anything, I just need to know what's your favorite coffee.
I'm a cappuccino guy.
You're a cappuccino. So what you're saying is that you like espresso strength, but you also like a little bit softness to kind of balance the strength of the coffee, right?
Absolutely,
Amazing.
absolutely.
So if those beans are a mix of Robusta and Arabica, right, it essentially balances the acidity and the bitterness together. So it's perfect for milk. And therefore, I think those are going to be great beans for you.
Done. I want another packet of those right now. By the way, man, these things smell so great. I'm not a coffee person, and I'm just sitting here it's such a great smell.
Yeah.
Sold it to me. Well done. Well
Amazing.
done.
Amazing.
Thank you so much for joining this episode. I've learned so much from you today, and I think that the people that are listening can learn a lot from you on how to grow their journey from the very beginning, on how to knock on those doors exactly like you did, and to sitting where you are today, putting ego aside as an account executive. You've been an SDR director. You've basically done it all. Well, not all. You still see the steps to grow,
Still young.
and that's what's important. Is like, you're not sitting at the CEO, in the CEO's chair, but you still have that vision of growing and becoming a VP of sales. And then from there, you'll have another vision of becoming a CRO and then possibly a CEO. So there's always the vision out there. And that's one thing I've learned from you today is, keep that vision, like always have that vision and execute it. Don't if you've got something that you want, you're going to get it, my friend.
Yeah. And one last thing that I used to have in my CV, I think the last time I had the CV was in 2011. It used to say, "We learn until we die." So that's
Wow.
my approach.
Absolutely. And I think if you had 5 keys, not 4 keys, that would be another key, is just put that in there. Learn something new every day. Omri Kenan, thank you so much. Have a wonderful day ahead.
Thank you very much. Bye bye, Hilton.
Bye bye.